Greetings. So I'm still doing my Quran learning here and I want to share it with you guys because whoever is interested can learn with me and even can question and ask with me and reflect with me. This is chapter 32 of the Quran called Al-Sajda or prostration. And I'm looking at verse 9. It says, again, he shaped him and breathed into him his spirit, and he made for you the ability to hear and sight and minds or mind, but you give little thanks. That's verse 9 from chapter 32 of the Quran called Al-Sajda, which means prostration in English. So where this verse says, and he made for you the ability to hear, how many people, and in particular Muslims, are interested in hearing these messages, especially from someone like me, especially, let's say, from a woman? So you've been given the ability to hear from God, from Allah, but you don't want to hear. You don't want to listen to God's messages or to Allah's messages through the prophets and messengers. And frankly, in this case, that prophet and messenger is me. And where it's saying that God or Allah, which means the God, the Arabic word Allah means the God. So where it's saying that God or Allah has given you the ability to hear, there's a deeper meaning to that even. Because on the surface, you can just take that as, oh, being able to hear with your physical ears. But there's a deeper meaning to that too. Because there's such a thing as spiritual hearing as well. And what do you know about that? What do Muslims know about spiritual hearing and what that is? And of course, then there is the mind, and what our minds are capable of, or what is a human mind capable of when it comes to spirituality, when it comes to spirit and the spirit realm and connecting with the spirit realm. So there's our physical brain. There's the physical brain, who does rational, analytical, intellectual thinking, especially our left brain is our rational brain. And then there's our right brain, that is our intuitive brain. And how many Muslims know about intuition or what being an intuitive means? And also, how does our physical brain, connect with the non-physical? And by the non-physical, I mean the spirit realm, the non-physical dimensions, meaning the spirit realm. And because you don't know anything about any of that, so when someone like me comes around and exhibit and demonstrate having a spiritual hearing and having a spiritual sight and having a spiritual mind and a higher level of consciousness, then people like you and Muslims in particular, and people in general, even, just anyone and everyone, I'm including everyone here now, just people in general, whether they're Muslims, non-Muslims, whether they're Jews, Christians, Hindus, Muslims, atheists, agnostics, and because they don't know anything about any of this, then when someone like comes around and exhibit and demonstrate spiritual hearing, spiritual sight, and a spiritual mind and consciousness, then people like you think I'm crazy, that I'm off my rockers, because you don't understand what I'm doing. Because it's you who are ignorant. I'm sorry to say that, but that's the truth. And because it's you who don't want to learn what all that is. And so you want to deem us crazy. You rather think we're crazy. Well, I guess then all the prophets in all the religions were crazy too. Because this is exactly what they were doing. And yes, the people around them in their times also thought that they were crazy. And it's the same thing repeating in this day and age with me too. With people thinking that I'm crazy too. Though by now they've realized that, the prophets in the past were not crazy. They were getting messages from God, from Allah, from archangels. And in the case of Prophet Muhammad, Archangel Gabriel, who is Farishta Jibrail for Muslims. But when I'm sitting here demonstrating the same thing, doing the same thing, people think I'm crazy. Now, of course, as I said, the prophets of the past were also deemed crazy by their people. And it's the same thing, the same ignorance still repeating in this day and age, thousands of years later, again, with me too. There are people thinking I'm crazy. Still, because people don't want to learn. They want to stay ignorant. Still, thousands of years later, people still want to stay ignorant and don't want to learn. They want to stay stuck in ignorance. Then guess, who is the crazy one? Or who's crazy? Me or you? Because you are the ones who are ignorant and don't want to learn. And you don't want to understand what I'm doing and how it's all happening. Then it's you who are crazy and ignorant, not me. And this is to the believers, If any Jews are watching me and they think I'm crazy, then they must think that their prophet Moses, who is Moshe for Jews, Moses for Christians, and Musa for Muslims, then they must think Moses was crazy too. And if there are any Christians watching me and they think I'm crazy, then then they must think that Yeshua, Jesus, Yeshua for Jews, Jesus for Christians, who is Isa for Muslims, was crazy too. And if there are any Muslims watching me and they think I'm crazy, then I'm sure they must think that Prophet Muhammad was crazy too, because why wouldn't they think Prophet Muhammad as being crazy too? Because I'm doing exactly what Prophet Muhammad was doing. I'm doing exactly what Yeshua or Jesus or Isa was doing. I'm doing exactly what Moshe or Moses or Musa was doing, and all the other prophets before them as well. And if by now people have realized that no, these prophets in the past were not crazy, they actually were prophets and messengers sent by God, and they were receiving their messages from God, then when I am back here in this day and age and I'm doing the same thing, then how come I'm crazy? Huh? Like, make it make sense. So let's go back to the verse here. And he made for you the ability to hear and sight. And are we just talking about the physical sight here? Like, the physical eyes, the eyesight, our physical eyes? Or is this about something deeper? Because right now, as I'm sitting here and reading through this verse and recording this video, this message, what I'm getting intuitively is spiritual sight, not just, your regular human physical eyesight or your regular human sight with these two eyes. No, I'm getting spiritual sight. So where is your spiritual sight? Do you even know what that is? And he made for you the ability to hear and sight and minds or mind. So now we come to the mind. What are you doing with your minds? Or what are you doing with your mind? As in, are you thinking for yourselves with your God-given mind? Or are you just sitting there being programmed by others? Especially when it comes to religion. So when God, Allah, has given you the ability to hear, why are you not hearing? Why are you not listening to these messages? Why are you not interested? And where is your spiritual sight? And do you even know what that is? And if you don't know what that is, then shouldn't you be questioning yourselves as to, why do I not know that? Why do I not know what spiritual sight is? Why do I not know what my own holy book is telling me, what's written in my own holy book, and I don't even know about it, and I don't even know what that is or what that means? Why do you not want to know? Why do you not want to learn? Why are you not opening to learning about things you don't know? Even if that learning is coming from a woman. And when it comes to the mind, why are you not using your God-given minds? Why are you not using your mind? Why are you not using your common sense even? Why are you not thinking for yourselves? Why are you not reflecting for yourselves? Why do you not even have any self-reflection? i.e., why are you not even reflecting on yourselves? Why do you want to be, and I'm sorry to say this because this is going to trigger people and Muslims in particular, why do you want to be religiously programmed robot? But I have to say it like this because that is how it is, because that is the truth. And then the verse ends with saying, but you give little thanks. And that's another thing. You know, I've been sitting here trying to teach you, trying to do this job because I've been sent here to do this job and to teach you so you can learn better, so you can unlearn your false religious programming and actually start learning the truth about God, about Allah, about Prophet Muhammad, about Hazrat Aisha, about all of it, about the universe, about the soul, which is Atma for Hindus and Buddhists and Ruh for Muslims, and of course soul or spirit for Jews and Christians. But no one seems to be interested, and even if there are a few who are open to learning, but then they're showing no appreciation at all. They're showing nothing positive towards me. Like they're not even giving thanks. They're not even saying thanks to me as a teacher and as someone that you're learning from. Like no one even bothers to like my videos because even that would be saying thanks. No one, leaves even just a thank you in my comment section. Nothing. No appreciation at all. Because I guess most people and most Muslims are just not getting it. Because they're just not that deep. Because everyone's just flailing around on the surface. And everyone's just programmed and mind controlled. Because that's another thing that all this false religious programming has done. It's mind control. Because why do you think that they don't want you to use your common sense even? Why do you think they don't want you to think for yourselves? Why do you think they don't want you to question anything to do with religion and God or Allah and the Muslim holy book Quran and Hadith or Hadith? Why do you think they don't want you to even question any of it or don't even ask? Even if you're curious, even if you want to learn, even if you're like, oh, you know what, I wonder what that's about, but I cannot question, I cannot even ask because even that's been made into a sin. And why do you think that is? Because they don't want you to learn any better, because they don't want you to use your God-given minds and think for yourselves and reflect for yourselves and reflect on things for yourselves, even if it's just within yourselves, even if you just reflect within yourselves. But, they're not even encouraging that, because in order to even reflect within yourselves, you still have to think for yourself. You still have to think for yourselves. Because even thinking for yourselves is part of reflecting on things and is part of self-reflection even. So you got to question that too. You got to question that. You got to ask, hey, Why am I not allowed to think for myself, especially when it comes to religion? Why? Why am I being discouraged heavily to do that? Why? Why do they not want me to think for myself? Why? Why have they made that into a sin? Why? Why is it a sin? When the Muslim holy book Quran itself says that it's okay to reason. So why am I not allowed to think for myself and reason? Why? And why has that been made into a sin? Why? What is it that, these people or this false religious programming coming from the devil and his false prophets and coming from the dark side, what is it that the devil does not want you to know? And why? Oh, is it that the devil does not want you to know the truth? And if that's the case, then why? Why does the devil does not want you to know the truth? What is the truth? Aren't you even curious? Why do you not want to know? Why do you not want to learn? Why do you not even want to hear or listen and reflect, even if you do that reflection within yourselves? And now let me come to something deep. Now where this verse says, this verse starts with saying this. He, and of course by he, we're referring to God, but is God a he? That's another question. Anyway, let's get on with it. So this verse starts with saying again, he shaped him and breathed into him his spirit. Now, who can tell me what this part in this verse means? Huh? This part specifically where it says, and breathed into him his spirit, meaning what? Breathed into him what? Mankind, humans. Breathe into him his spirit. And what does it mean when this verse is saying his spirit? So what does that mean exactly? When this verse of the Quran is saying he breathed into him his spirit. So what does that mean? Who knows that? Who knows what that means? Who in the Muslim world knows what that means? Breathe into him his spirit. His spirit. What does that mean? Who knows what that means? Who in the Muslim world knows what that means? How many in the Muslim world knows what that means? How many, let's say, in the religious authorities or even the religious figures know what that means? And if you don't know what that means, then why are you not interested in hearing these messages, in listening to these messages, in reflecting on these messages, and in learning what that means? And not just what this particular thing means, but there's a lot more to learn. But who's interested in learning? Seems like everybody's interested in being programmed. But no one seems interested in actually learning for themselves and thinking for themselves. So which one are you? Are you interested in learning, or are you interested in being programmed? Are you interested in learning the truth, or are you interested in being programmed with the lies? What are you interested in? Make your choice. And again, I'm coming back to this part of the verse where it's saying, and he breathes into him his spirit. Now, how many in the religious authorities, let's say, and religious figures and even scholars know what that part in this verse of the Quran means? And if they don't know, then what are they doing being a religious authority or a religious figure and even a scholar? Like, what business do they have being a religious authority and being a religious figure and being a scholar if they don't even know the basics? Like what this part in this verse means. And if they don't even know this and what this means, then what business do they have being a religious authority, being a religious figure, and even being a scholar? Huh? I shall leave it there for this one. Take care. Over and out.